Hey everybody, it's Derek with the Ultimate Hang, and guess what? I've got a Lawson Hammock now. I've tested the Lawson Hammock before. They made a couple of updates. It is a spreader bar hammock. You can set it up as a hammock, and it works pretty well as a bivvy. So I've got the hammock and some straps. Got a accessory pack and tent stakes. Now the hammock by itself comes in about 4 pounds, maybe a little bit over 4 pounds. It's a heavy kit. Part of that is it's got some steel spreader bars. They weigh a lot. The hammock itself is not that big. I mean, you've got a body of about 90 inches by 36 or 30 so inches. Fairly good size, especially for a bivvy. Oh, here we go. The straps that come with it have a nice cinch buckle. So it's heavy, guaranteed. It's probably not on the top of everyone's list when they think about a backpacking kit. I know it's probably not, for me, a nice backpacking kit. It is just, it's big, it's heavy, and it does not pack down pretty small. So this takes up a good portion of your pack, so keep that in mind. So here are the spreader bars. I think the main thing to keep in mind is keeping the tangle out here. You've got the connection for the straps, and then the two poles just slide together here. Now, when I tested this the first time, I have noticed they upgraded and improved the spreader bar. The connections have less burrs. It's a little more refined. It's just a nicer kit. This woven piece up here is called the shoulder mat. The spreader bar helps to flatten out this hammock, or at least on the ends, okay? Now, spreader bar hammocks are typically a little tippier because that center of gravity is quite a bit higher. This hammock is interesting too because the spreader bar does spread out the hammock, but the clue itself, you'll notice that there's a little bit of a dip here. It's not intended to be completely flat, so it does provide a little bit of a catenary curve in the hammock. So again, I'm not going to adjust this at all. I don't think you need to adjust this. So if you see some slack in these lines, that's okay. That's going to really be taken up as you get into this hammock. You'll see that once you get into the hammock, it's going to make a big difference. Only other thing to really keep in mind is you have this clip here is going to connect once we get the, there's also a tent pole, right, to keep that bug net up. So that's pretty cool. All right, let's get on with it. So in addition to the tent body, you probably saw me throw out, it has tent poles come in a separate stuff sack. Those will go on either end, and it comes with the tarp, which for me right now has been totally necessary because we've had a ton of rain. Now, before I put the bug net up, if you don't need the bug net, you can set up the hammock just like this. Now, I wouldn't recommend sleeping on the bug net just so you don't rip it. You can always flip it over, and you can use the hammock just like this. You're not going to tear up the hammock. Now, my tips for using the Lawson hammock, you can see that I have it actually at a pretty good hang angle. This is your typical 30-degree or so on, typical hang angle. When I have it set up like this, the advantage is you can see the center of gravity is really low. This is just like a regular hammock, not tippy at all. Some of the Nicaraguan hammocks come with spreader bars just like this. And all that does is you can actually get a smaller hammock, but have the feel of a much bigger one because of the way that the spreader bars open up this hammock. It's like getting in a diagonal of a much bigger hammock. So this is kind of a surprising revelation for a lot of people who may think, oh, you got to have a bigger hammock. Not necessarily. The body of the hammock itself is less important as how that fabric is spread out. And that's what these spreader bars do. It's kind of masquerade a bigger hammock in a much smaller body. Now, if this hammock had a lighter weight suspension, like these spreader bars, if it were, this could be actually a much lighter kit. The other disadvantage though is of course the tent poles also add a little bit of weight. So you have to keep that in mind. But again, just like this, I've got a nice flat lay. I'm feeling very comfortable in this hammock just like this. So I'm laying on the diagonal, nice flat lay. Now, some people, when they set up the Lawson, they really try to flatten it out. And they do that by decreasing the hang angle, right? Tightening this guy up, trying to make it flat. I don't recommend doing this. Again, even though I'm now tightening it up, it's going to raise the center of gravity, make this much tippier, and you're not going to be able to sleep on the diagonal. And you can see this hammock, because the suspension is a little bit looser in the center, it does provide a little bit of a kind of a bed here. And maybe that's what some people think of when they think of sleeping in the Lawson hammock, but that's not the way that I would recommend doing it. If you do pick up the Lawson, I would set it up with more of that sag. Got a nice good sag here. If I want to put it into the bug net mode, going to assemble these poles. You see they already have a bit of a bend in it because there is a lot of strain on these. Now here's the thing, you can save a little bit of weight if you don't want to take these tent poles and just clip up the bug netting. The problem is Lawson did not include any kind of clip. You can see actually inside, there's a clip on the inside, but not on the outside. One of the modifications that I would do if I wanted to kind of save some weight, if I maybe wanted to backpack with this, you could set this up. If you tied on some kind of a loop on the end, you could easily clip it out and not even need the tent poles. For today, we're setting this up stock. So we're not going to put any of the extra mods on it for today. It's got nice grommets on the ends. So yeah, it pops that up really easy. Really nice. Now, you might not be able to see it, but it's starting to rain a little bit. And I've got some big rain clouds, so I'm going to try to beat the storm and get my tarp up as well so that I can stay out of the rain on this guy. Again, you don't necessarily need to attach these elastics on the ends. However, there is a tendency for these poles, you can see here, they can pop down like this, which you don't want to do. So that's what these elastics on the ends are for, is to clip onto the tent poles like this, and just provides enough tension to keep those poles up. Now, for this demo, I have clearly made a mistake because I need the entrance, or I would prefer having the entrance on this side. So I'm going to quickly flip it around. Single entrance on the one side, nice zippers, a pretty clean YKK zipper pulls. And across the body, you can actually see there's some Velcro on the bottom of the hammock. I'll show you the reason we need that in a minute. And there are loops here on the corners and right here on the bug net. That's one of the updates that I've noticed too from the previous versions I've tested, is these loops you can use if you wanted to tie out the edges. If you hang it with a good sag, you don't really need to do that. But if you feel like it's getting tippy, maybe some strong elastics on the corners can help pull that out and keep it sturdy. Whoa! All right, I might need to lift this up just a little bit. It's a little bit lower than I want. All right, that's a little bit better. And guess what? It's starting to rain. So let's quickly put up the rain tarp, and you can kind of see how this entire kit gets put together. All right, let's come inside and check out the interior of the Lawson and see how we're doing with the rain setup. All right, we are inside. We are cozy inside the Lawson Hammock. I've got it on the wide angle lens, so I apologize. It's a little bit distorted. However, you can see pretty roomy inside in hammock mode. As I mentioned, I did not intentionally pitch this super tight, and that is because I prefer to have that bit of a sag so that I can sleep or lay diagonal. You can see that my leg's over on this position on the right, my head opposite on the left, and that provides the most comfortable flat lay in any hammock. A lot of people, when they get into a hammock, you might think, let's put it right in the middle. The Lawson, if you pitch it tight, you can kind of do that, but you're still going to end up in that banana shape, right? And right now, that's what I'm feeling. I can feel that pressure on my lower spine. I'm feeling it. So if you do have a Lawson, I don't recommend hanging it too tight. Put it on a bit of a sag. I'm pitching this, maybe it's a little aggressive, maybe it's 30 degrees, maybe a little bit more. But that does allow me, you can see I put my feet down, they drop a little bit, my head lowers, and I'm a much flatter lay. I love that it's raining today because I can show you how the rain tarp is working. To be honest, this is a minimal tarp. You can see here, I barely have coverage. If I wanted to, I could, tuck this in. Like I said, I've got the Velcro tabs here. You can see them, which is really important on the opposite side here. I made sure to try to connect those on this opposite side. However, if it were pretty windy, that would be an issue. And having the tarp pitched out can be problematic. So you've got to just keep that in mind. The other thing you've really got to keep in mind is this bug net. You can see I've got it draped on the outside. If you have it on the inside like this, and sit on it, really problematic. You've got to kind of do the little shuffle, right, to get that bug net out of you. So I kind of mentally just make sure I keep the bug net on the outside as I get in. And then I've got these zipper pulls. See how easy this pops up with one hand. I may have to bring it on the inside just a little bit to make it easier. Nope, that's not going to work. Too much tension on that side. There we go. Yeah, it's a lot of tension on that zipper. You can see it kind of pulling out a little bit. So I would have to get up and move a little bit in order for me to pull that one. This one is giving me a little bit of trouble. So this is kind of one of the challenges with the Lawson. There's just a lot of tension, not only because I'm in the hammock, you can see these tent poles. They are pulling that bug net nice and tight. I want to be careful that everything is staying off of me. Again, that elastic, I can put that elastic on the tarp, but I only put a tie out on one side and it's keeping the tarp. You can see it's nice. It's off of the bug net. So I'm not going to get that condensation dripping on my bug net. And then I just got to be a little more careful about what I'm doing with the zipper. There's a lot of tension over here. I don't want to rip this. In terms of storage inside of this hammock, there's 3 nice storage bags on the side. Got my hat in this one. Easily fits, a small iPad, phone, book, and that's about it. There are a couple of loops, as I mentioned before, on this ridgeline. You could clip like a light on either end. There's not really a designated head or foot end, so they do have a couple on each end. There's also these same ring loops adjacent on either side of them. Honestly, I don't know what I would do with those. And then a new feature that I'm not also sure what to do with, there are these Velcro tabs, and they appear around the perimeter of this hammock, all the way around. There's one right here as well. My only guess is that they're designed for maybe a pad of some kind, maybe. Again, I'm not exactly sure what they're for. So if you know, put it in the comments. Let everybody know. What would you use these Velcro on the side? I've got a traditional 20-inch sleeping pad in this hammock today. You can see it's not big enough to fit all the way to the end. I'm about 6 feet tall, and there's plenty of, like, maybe another foot on that end and about another foot on my head side. So you can get some tall people in here, but this particular sleeping pad doesn't even fit. You've got a lot of room. So 20 inches here. You can use a traditional hammock under quilt in here as well. It works very similar to any kind of like bridge hammock, where you would simply loop your underquilt around the corners and it works just fine. In fact, in some ways it can get a snugger feel around the hammock because those corners are kind of pulling that tight. You don't have to cinch around the ends of the hammock and worry about like a gap, because it really just flattens out the end of the underquilt. So now that we've got it in hammock mode, and again, I'm pretty comfortable. I probably want a pillow actually because of it. Oh, just trying to find that diagonal that I like. There, that's a little bit better. Scooch down just a little bit. So the spreader bar does make this hammock feel a little bit bigger than you would expect it to feel. Because again, the body of the hammock itself, like if I measured it, it's less than 9 feet, but it feels like a much bigger hammock, almost like an 11-foot hammock because of that spreader bar. So don't be dismayed just because you see it's not an 11-foot hammock. It really works just great. This rain tarp is working really well. I mean, this is not a huge rainstorm, but it's a nice drizzle. This is 1,000 PU coated polyester. But let's go set this guy up in the ground divvy mode, and you're gonna see a significant difference now in the living space. I've done hammocks on the ground a couple of times. I try to avoid it just because I much prefer sleeping in the hammock. Your hammock is designed to hold you up off the ground, and any kind of pinpricks and holes can lead to a rip and could destroy your hammock. So I recommend getting some type of a floor or ground sheet. This is one from One Wind. It's just a sil nylon. It's just a bit of a layer of protection that can help prevent some of those things from happening. I've got 2 stakes. I've got my guy line. And again, this is where it can be a little bit tricky because the tarp and the bug net don't really have, let me just show you. So again, I just pulled this right off of on the inside of the tarp, there's no clip or connection. And this is where it gets tricky with the Lawson. A lot of the images just show the the bug net, which is easy to take because, you can clip onto here and pitch it out. So the way you've got to do it is as long as there's tension on the suspension of the hammock, you can see that helps to pop this up. So when you stake it down, I'm actually going to stake down the suspension of the hammock, these clues on both sides. This helps to hold up that bug net, and by contrast, the tarp. Okay. You can probably see already where we have a bit of a challenge here. As far as the tarp goes, you're pretty much straight on the ground. I can use the same stake. I've got a little bit of I'm gonna use the same string to tie off the tarp, because the tarp by itself is not really in a good position. There's not really tie outs that help to anchor it down when you're in tarp mode as it is in the hammock mode. I mean, I'm gonna pull off these corners a little bit. These elastic corners, and this is the compromise you have with this type of a setup, is you're compromising either a little bit on the hammock side or you're compromising a little bit on the bivvy side in order to stay dry. Once again, I have put the door on the wrong side. The door is on this side. So I'm just gonna move the camera because that's a lot easier to do. I have cheated a ton in order to set this up, because this is not what I would consider the stock setup for on the ground. Typically when you see the advertisements, you see this beautiful bivvy style here, and with a stock tarp just draped over the top, there's really not much you can do to tension it and keep it off of it. So you really have that tarp just laying on the ground. When I first set that up in the rain, you just have water pooling on the ground. There's really not a great way to get in. So you have to be a bit inventive in order to set the tarp up in kind of this bivvy mode. So in terms of a bivvy sack, most bivvy sacks, you kind of have the top of the head area. You can kind of sneak into it like a sleeping bag. With the side entry like this, that makes it a little bit more challenging too, because there's really there's no zipper or opening on this tarp. So as you can see, I've cheated, because I have set up 4 guy points and stakes. These basically, if you have some trekking poles, you could, like what I've done here, kind of set it up in a porch mode, right? If the prevailing winds were coming from the other side, that's what I would do to ensure that I was protected on that side and had an opening here so that I could get in to this new bivvy style, right? Now, the thing that you probably notice at first is I have lost all of my headroom, right? In this mode, you are literally on the ground, so take that into account. This is not like a tent. There is not a lot of headroom. So I'm just gonna show you, I'm gonna snuggle in this guy. I'm gonna have to really dip into this to get in. All right, and as I mentioned, in this particular mode, it feels a lot smaller from head to foot. My feet are touching one side. Literally my head, my vision is right on top of this tent pole. And I don't know, maybe I've got 8 inches at most from my nose to the top here. Not a lot of room. I mean, granted, maybe this is better than a bivvy sack, where bivvy sacks are literally laying on top of you, so you do have a little bit more room. But if you're thinking about this from a perspective of a tent, I mean, if I sleep on my side, my shoulders are literally pushing against the bug net. So it's not that it can't be done, and certainly yes, I have the option of sleeping on the ground. If you are accustomed to the bivvy style sleeping, then this probably feels enormous, right? There's definitely a lot more room in here, and certainly with the tent poles, that does provide it does open this up in terms of kind of pops open. You can sleep on the ground, certainly, but I would consider this kind of a second class style for this particular hammock. Yes, it can be done. It certainly looks cool, but you're gonna feel it. Like if you woke up in the morning and you're like, oh, there's the bug net, right? You don't have a lot of room, right? My shoulders are definitely in the bug net. Getting in and out, right? Sorry. I'm not trying to downplay the advantages of sleeping on the ground. You just have to keep in mind that it's suboptimal. It's not designed as like a tent first. Compare that to like the Hammock Sundra. That definitely has a much more like a tent feel. It's huge compared to this, but it is possible. All right, so let's get out of tent mode.